Hello, this is Chamela Martinez. Welcome to Óyeme, Oyete, the podcast of the Violence Intervention Program. This is a safe space of resistance where we share personal narratives about gender-based violence. Here, you can tell your story from your point of view, raise your voice against patriarchy, and contribute to the construction of a more just world. Óyeme, Oyete, and be part of the change. Welcome to today's episode. We want to begin with a content warning. In this episode, we will be discussing child sexual abuse, a sensitive topic that includes experiences of violence, trauma, and violation of trust. We understand this may be difficult or triggering for some listeners. Please listen with care, take breaks if needed, and above all, prioritize your emotional well-being. My name is Chamela Martinez, multimedia and communication strategist at BIP and your host. I'm joined by Perla Hidalgo, social worker at our Sexual Violence Project program, and Beatriz, a survivor of child sexual abuse, who is sharing her story with us today. Thank you both for being here.
My name is Perla Hidalgo, and I am the licensed social worker at the Sexual Violence Project at BIP.
Hi, my name is Beatriz. I'm a former client of BIP and also a survivor.
To start, could you, Beatriz, introduce yourself and share a little bit about you?
Okay, hi. Well, my name is Beatriz again. I was born in the Dominican Republic, but I was raised in Queens. Came here really young. I was like probably between 6 and 9. I kind of been back and forth, but then I really stayed formally when I was 9. I'm a survivor of child sexual abuse, and yeah, that's basically having my life right now.
Yeah. Could you tell me a bit about what inspired you or what made you share your story with us today in this space?
Yeah, well, I have had a long journey since I think like when I turned like 18, I really went to like a male breakdown. I quit school. I was in college. I quit college, and then I started working for this museum, and it was a really nice place because I felt like I found like a family there because it mostly were like black and brown young kids similar my age, mostly immigrant and queer, and and during that time was like the Me Too movement, and all that, and something that I was like appreciate of my own manager is that she was so open about talking about mental health and stuff like that. Like something we used to do is like after we got out of work and we would sit around the table or just a chair and we'll like talk about our life or things were going on with our family, were like even like career wise. And one time, like one day we just started talking about like abuse, sexual abuse, like relationship. And I think I opened about it. And I think that from that I also started like confessing that to my mom, and I went to like start therapy. So it's been certain like whole journey. Yeah. So yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
At what age did your abuse happen? How old were you?
Well, it happened to me twice. As young child when I was I think the first time I was 4 and it was a different person. And then when I moved here, I was like 9 or 10, and the person I used to live with, an adult, abused me too. So it's just been a whole journey of dealing with two type of people like abuse. So yeah.
Do you remember what your life was like before abuse happened in those two instances?
Well, I don't have much memory when but I have like I think I will just like, because I growing up I come from a really small town, and most of the people in my town were like family, like relatives and long distance relatives. And so you kind of grew up as a child, like just going around door to door, going to places, going to a corner store by yourself at the age of 4. It was like really secure place, quiet. So I was just like a kid who would just like, we will always like play in the street or hide and seek and stuff like that. So I had like a lot of memory, which I was really happy. I think it was like the most happy childhood I had, that time. Um, yeah, and then after that, what happened when I was 4, it kind of happened, and I kind of like certain brush it out, like bury somewhere, and I kind of like try to move on with life. I think that's what my brain did. Um, and then I was normally, happy kid, was like climb trees. I would like go fishing with my brother in the river. They have like we had in a small town, we have rivers and things like that. And then when I moved here, it was kind of dramatic and traumatic at the same time because I moved here and I was not living with my parents, like and I was living with other like cousins. So I kind of felt like I had to be like a perfect child and not like bother no one. Um so I didn't have like a certain, place that I can remember that I was like different. I kind of like, it really did change my life, like and who I was in a certain way, like how I was shy, but I wasn't like much ongoing compared to I was back home in where I grew up in the art. So yeah.
How was your life in your teenage years? How did like your abuse affect, or if it didn't at all, how were you as a teenager?
Well, as a teenager, I was straight up a student. I had a job at a museum. I was doing a bunch of programs. I was really into art, so I was doing a lot of art program. I was trying to get the art diploma for high school for the city. Like I was just that. Like school was life. Like I will go from work, school, and like I was also like into social work, like into justice, social stuff. So I was doing that. So it was just not like I didn't really have a lot of social life, I guess. Um, but I had friends, and we had similar like belief and idea and like creativities wise. Um, and like my focus was just like get A's, try to get to an art school or somewhere close, and just do that and move out your house and like you figure it out. Yeah, so it was just that, like I was really that person. Yeah.
I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Life was just study, 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 study.
Yeah, school, school, school.
What are some emotions that have come up for you throughout the years that have been hard to carry or during that time?
I think the emotion is like a lot of anger and like a lot of like shame, not only with myself, but like other people who I have like revealed in like especially my family, and I just like felt like not really protected by them, or like I had to be the one who do all the work and like educate them too. And I'm like, I cannot be the only one who carry all this, like, and I have like comfort my mother and like other people in my family, and like tell them like, hey, I can be like, you need to like educate yourself too, can educate you and everyone else about like how to like handle when I having like a mental breakdown or like emotional trigger or something, and or also like what it is like abuse and what happened, like what does it does to a person in a child especially, like so it's just being that, like I think that's has been the most hard thing compared to like me figuring out, because I'm a research nerd. Like I will research everything, and I will like I love to like work things, educate myself, like understand me from inside outside.
And how did the experience shape how you saw yourself, who you are, or how you related to others? I know you talk a bit about
Yeah.
relating to others.
Yeah, I think I had a really hard time to understand social wise growth, in a sense like I was mature as a person, but I was not relationship wise. Like I have friends who were really still friend with me to still today, but I had time especially close relationship, being affection to people, being like that. Like I can be nice and think, but I it's hard for me to when I see people hugging each other or landing in next to each other, and I'm like I don't know how to have that closeness with people. Like I have a hard time to even kiss, our cultures we kiss cheeks and things like that. And I remember a story of my grandmother when I went back to the R1 to visit her, and she was and I was saying goodbye, and she kissed me, and I was like, please don't do that. And she kind of got mad, and I was like, and I'm like, you know, I said I just don't feel comfortable doing that. So it just things like that. Yeah.
What was the moment where it clicked for you that you had went through abuse and that you needed support or that you deserved to someone had noticed?
Yeah. So it's been a certain journey to from I knew that I abuse, knowing that it was not my fault, from understanding how that happened, why that happened, from um how that affect me, how it changed me, and from social to family wise to yeah. So it has been a journey for I'd say over the past 7 years since I turned I'm now in my mid 20s, and I started rebuilding that when I turned 18. So it just been certain a whole chapter journeys.
And when you first start talking about it, what kind of fears or obstacles came up for you,
Uh
if any?
yes, the fear was mostly feeling not protected, or feeling um it was if I when I start feeling that I am not feeling protected, I'm kind of um just become another person when I'm I just hide that. I'm there's no reason for me telling you this if you're not gonna make me feel safe or anything like that. So I just and I become a survivor mode too, in a sense where I'm just you know what, I'm just trying to do the best of me and be happy. If I don't if this person doesn't acknowledge that. But yeah, it's mostly with family wise. I think with friends it's different. I can call my friend any time of the day, and if I'm feeling bad, and they will answer to me and speak to me. But yeah, this is that.
Gracias. Thank you.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of silence when it comes to this topic. Do you think that keeping it inside before you let it out affect you in any way?
Yes, I think it, because you kind of learn how to live with that, and it's hard from keeping that cycle of hiding it and revealing and feeling scared and um anger at the same time, and um the it's kind of I don't know, secrets do really, I people think secret just something that you have there. I think sometimes people have secret and it's kind of they organize it. That's how I feel I do it sometimes. I organize my secret certain way, and I'm not meaning I change it. I just you know like I see it. I know it's just there. But some way I just feel this certain wall between that, which is also part of me, and people. So I just like, and it's, I feel like now these days, I feel like it's been hard, because I feel like I can't connect with you if I don't feel that I'm telling you, like I can, or feel safe of telling you part of me, because like um it does affect like how I function daily. Like it like I like if I don't have a lot of energy, or I'm not a move, or like how I react or interact with you, like it does affect. So it just like I feel like I had to put a mask, but at the same time like having that there that I know like I can yeah. So yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can definitely relate with the whole mask stuff, and it's really tough.
Yeah.
It's because it's like you're using up all your energy to
Yes.
put on a mask
Mm,
that you're already drained from what happened to you and having all these thoughts.
yeah.
That putting on a mask is extra effort, and you're
Yes.
doing that for others to kind of, in a way, I don't know, make them not feel uncomfortable or not think about or not worry about you.
Yeah. Or like if they do just make you feel more like, oh, like, don't say nothing if you do, like, like, and it's always, I feel like what I notice is the people I have, especially my family, tell, like, they also have tell me experience like sexual abuse in their lifetime, but the way they do it, it's just like how society expect like to hide it and normalize it in a way. So it's hard, and or like, oh, don't say it, feel make the shame about it, like about like telling people around, or yeah. So it is just that, like, I'm like, I know how like you've been through something, and I think they can relate and feel like empathy and sympathy in a way. I don't really, yeah. But the way they do it, and I think it's just different, especially because I was raised here, so there's like a culture different, that I feel like there's a separate habit and things they do, which is like so normalized, like normalize this, like and I'm like, this is not normal. Like the way you reacting and like hiding it and like not speaking out or protecting, you think certain way, like you protecting yourself, but it's not. So yeah.
And also, like, while keeping it as a secret, we are not letting the person that caused harm to take accountability for their
Yes.
actions.
Yes.
Because in our communities, it's in many communities, right? It brings shame to talk about it. It brings shame to the family. It brings shame to who you are. And I think that's like the main problem, right? We don't want to talk about it. Let's just, not touch that, because if we do, then we need to deal with the
Yeah.
person who caused harm, right? And confronting that person.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely like a problem with confrontation. Like like I have, like last month I had a whole thing where I'm like, I was just tired, and I was like tell my mom, like, and I think my dad, my brother was like sitting right there, and I was like, listen, I can, you have to tell this person wife that that her husband is an abuser and is a child predator, like you cannot keep that. And then I'm like, I can't deal with it, and I'm like, and she was, and their her first reaction was like shocked that I was telling her that in front of my brother and my father. And I'm like, no, like, and the always excuse is like, oh, maybe something like medically gonna happen to his wife, because they're and I'm like, no, like I can't, like, because like, there's more, just children are being born in this family. This small girl, they are now like 3 or 4, and like, something can happen. Even if you, most of half of the family kind of know, because I'm like, I know I'm not the only one in the family that had happened to me, and this person had abuse. So it's just like hiding that. I'm like, how you not protecting the young generation? And then you complain what happened to them when they have mental problem and things like that. I'm like, you don't see the connection. So it just, that's what is mostly like the hard part of it. Yeah, too.
Yeah. And I see that in your family, particularly, the concerns like, if we don't break this silence and have these difficult conversations, other children can potentially be abused.
Yeah.
And, we're not confronting this person. This person is not being responsible for his actions, and no one wants to talk about it.
Yeah.
And for many survivors, I have heard that then it becomes like they're worried, like now I'm worried that another child could be a victim too. And that's true for many survivors.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so sorry.
Oh, thank you.
In our Latino community, it's so common for there to be silence. I feel like even with the abuser not being present, like in my case, the abuser's not present, it's deceased, but there's still that of like, let's keep it silent. And it's like, my thoughts are like, well, who are we protecting? Because shouldn't we be protecting little me who's still inside, and little Beatriz who's still inside of you? Like, also protect all the other children who might have been abused, who are older now, or the ones who are growing up.
Yeah. And like it just keep the cycle too, because I'm like, it also makes other people vulnerable, because like, something, if you are being abused once, it could happen to you again, because your body, what it does, like especially for me, like I just froze, and it just add to that. So yeah, it just like, and I think it's mostly like a culture, like I just feel it, especially when people want everything to be the same, everything to be the same, everything to be just a perfect cutting thing, when reality, human experience and like life is so texture and different, like things. So I can like, I see it, like how deep, so grained to a culture, how normalized it is. I do study in like Dominican society, and how teen pregnancy is so high, and it's like, and then like when you learn, it's like most of these fathers are older men, and you like, wow, it's so normal. Like I see it, like you will see 14, 15-year-old girl getting pregnant by some 40-year-old man, and it's so like common and normal. And I'm like, wow, it does makes a lot of sense of why it's so, normalizing that way. So yeah.
Exactly. We normalize it, and we need to start breaking the silence. We need to start speaking about it more, educating young girls, like families. Like, it's not okay to keep it silence.
Yeah, and like what it does to a human body, like what it does to a child, like people don't know, like it causes not just mental health, but like cancer. Like holding that secret can cause you cancer, can cause you other heart disease. Like, so it's just like, where are we? We don't like, we so sad when people always have heart problem and or pass away because of cancer, but we don't realize that this person probably holding a secret since they were a child, or holding abuse from people around them that they told them they love them, but so it's just like, yeah.
And it changes your whole brain component of it all, the way you think, how your brain develops. Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So let's talk a bit about your healing and how that path has been for you. So what has helped you throughout this time?
I think has helped me is telling me my truth. It has helped me in certain way, but I also like try to like educate myself in a certain way, but also like building friendship. There's a lot of like internal work I have done. but I have a lot to do. Like therapy wise, like understanding that it's a constant battle to it, in the sense like you like you find a thing that you feel like it's helping you. Like it can be walking, can be yoga, can be um any activity or have hobbies. um uh but then like you may feel triggered in certain way, and then like that doesn't help you no more. So it's like it's a constant finding things, or returning to those hobbies and things like that. Yeah, it's just being that, but I feel like there's a moment that I've like I'm like, yeah, it's hard for me to be gentle with myself, especially when I'm triggered, and like I express anger and I don't know how to handle it. And I'm trying to like now face anger and understand anger. And like I was like crazy yesterday, just on like a Instagram video of a person who just said like, anger, what it's doing is trying to protect you. So I'm like, wow, okay. See? And I was like, wow. And it's like, okay, and I'm like, I'm gonna to take a look at that. What does really mean to like protect you in a certain way? But yeah, that's been like my whole thing. And like feeling like I'm sometimes, if I like harming other, because I like the way I express anger, because like I come from like a community that doesn't really know how to like emotion is just like not there. Like anger is, it's just like, yeah, people don't know how to talk nice to each other. It's just like, so it's just that. So I'm trying to be better at that and be just gentle with myself at the same time, has been now. But yeah, I don't know if I, yeah.
What I hear is that healing is not a straight line, right?
No.
Healing has bumps on the way, and that's totally normal, right? There's
Yeah.
days that we're going to be able to use some skills that we have learned, but there's days that we are not. And one thing that we learn as survivor of sexual violence as a child is to put the mask on our face, like you were mentioning before, and suppress a lot of emotions, because at some point that helped us, right? It was a way of us to cope with the trauma. And then as an adult, it could be, I have difficulties confronting anger or expressing my anger, and it's a natural emotion. It's there for a reason, and I'm glad that you came across that, and you're working on like, okay, I need to allow myself to express this emotion. How can I do that, right? And I think that's growth, and that's healing too.
Yeah. Definitely. And I think also like when it comes to anger, like knowing where the anger come from. Like I know what trigger is, but sometimes I feel like I have a hard time when I am trigger. Knowing like there's time that I'm like ending in the hospital because I had, and then realize, oh my god, it was a whole panic attack the whole time, and I'm like, oh my god, I thought I had like dying because my blood pressure went up, and I'm like, and I'm like, wow. So it's just being that, yeah. And I think that's also like part of like anger, because like we are not like, you, if you especially raised as a girl, you are not taught to like express anger. Like you should be, a peace for everyone. If you are pressing anger, you are considered to be like bad and things like that, and those certain words. When you just like, I don't know how to express myself. I don't know even the word to form where I'm like feeling, or just, yeah. So it's just being that.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh,
and thank you, Perla.
Yeah.
That helps a lot. Your insight. Let's talk a bit about any like tools or routines that you do that have helped you along the way, or how has therapy been for you? How has that experience been? What has helped?
Yeah. Well, therapy I started when I was 19, and the first year was like we kind of like my therapist kind of like we talk about it, but there was no work, like there was no homework. We weren't doing much homework. It was just a lot of talk. In a certain way, like it helped me in some sense, like I needed to someone to just talk and not feel like that I was not being protected or understand. And then I then later had another therapist during the pandemic, but we didn't really talk about the topic. It was another topic, especially like just being queer. So we just talk about queerness and stuff like that. Um, and then I quit therapy. I was also in medication during that time. And then I quit therapy, and um, and I just doing work. Like work was just a savior for me in a certain way because um I just felt like I was just around people who really did care for me and like things like that. Um, and then work ended, and I would just another journey when I'm like another cousin revealed that she was abused with the same from the friends from the same person to the family. And she was having a hard time, and I felt like I couldn't. I was having a hard time to like communicate with her because I felt like I was like I don't know how to like have a conversation with her. Um, and she's much younger than me. Um, and she lived in a different state, so I would just But during that time, I had a phone call from a police officer, and he was like, if you want, you can come to the office because we have a case from your cousin. And I was like, and it seems like she told me that you were also abused by the same person. So I was like, you know what, let's do this. I was like, be brave, Beatriz. And so I went to the police station. I confessed, and I remember there was another person who was there, who was a therapist, and she was also Dominican, certain way. And I was like, and the police officer, and I just remember it's like I have a thing that I can't look at a person eye when I'm revealing certain things. So I'm just looking through the window and just seeing the train passing through. And there's some way that I didn't carry on with that because I like realized how you know the justice system work, and I was like, because I was like trying to explain this person about where this person touched me, and I was like the boba, and the person and the police officer was like, oh, you mean the vagina? I'm like, no, the boba. The vagina and the boba, and they understand. And I felt like I was being used in a certain way, in a sense, like how he just wanted it the truth to put someone in jail instead of like protecting the survivor. So I was like, you know what? And I also remember before I left, that I told my mom, and I think her reaction was like she got mad at me, and but she was not telling me that I was mad. She was mad at me in a certain way. Like I think she was mad at me in the sense that I was going to that place and telling. I think she was in a certain way maybe trigger because I feel like it's also like a traumatic for her. Um, and I remember in the train, I was in the train and I texted her. I'm like, I wish it that you will come with me because you were not working. You were just home. And she was like, oh, I'm sorry, daughter. Like I should have gone. And I'm like, it's too late. Like I'm in almost there. And so instead, I just called a friend, and then we just talk. And I just sat at a park and ate some empanadas, and like we just talk. And I felt like, and knowing that that friend had my back and telling me that, my friend was like, I will go to court with you if you need it. And I was like, thank you though. Yeah. And I think I haven't gone to the whole process because I have not feel protected from my family. I'm like, I don't what's like, I don't know, what's like, sometimes what's the point of doing all this if I'm like, it's just me and people just hiding? And if I do it, like, will I be all by myself in court with just my friend, one friend like I have who is really close to me? Is that it? Like, is so it's just like yeah. Yeah, doesn't, so yeah.
So many things there, right?
Yeah.
Because again, you were able to share this story and getting the support that you needed from your family,
Yeah.
from your mother. And of course, we don't know what was going on her head, but what I've seen is that sometimes for parents, it's hard to kind of like accept this truth that this happened to your child and they need you, you know? And but as the person who survived that abuse, it's like I'm disappointed all over again.
Yeah. It's definitely that, like, definitely realizing that you are not, when it comes to, food, shelter, necessary things you may have from your parent, but realize that you don't have both, not even the emotional support sometimes, or like that support of not like of like fighting for you. Like, I'm like, I wish you just like fighting for me, like just be comfort, like comfort this person, argue, like go there and like make a whole drama. I like seeing that. I wish I can see that, but I think, yeah, they really, most parents lack that. Like, they will protect you in a certain way, but I see it and I'm like, you're not really protecting that child. Telling them, oh, don't be around older men, don't allow men to touch you like that. And I'm like, but you are putting that, I feel like that putting also a shame to a child, or the responsibility of the child. You putting that, like I tell my mom, like, don't do that to other kids or other girls. Telling just them, oh, don't allow me. No.
Because the message could be you are responsible for protecting yourself,
So,
instead of children need to be protected by their adults around them. Right?
Yes.
And also, I just wanted to say, Beatriz, you were so brave to go into the police station, share your story, even though you didn't have no one there from your family to support you.
Yeah.
And do that with you, and someone that truly believed you. So I just admire your braveness.
Thank
there.
you. Thank you.
Yes, you should be very proud of yourself. And with your cousin, were you guys able to, like, till this day, get in touch or connect in some way?
No, it's just been like, you know, I also, it's also part of me. Like, I struggle to connect with people. I will go anonymous, like, you won't see me for months or years, and I will just be home, just like doing things like hobbies and stuff, and like in a certain way, like but yeah, and I think it's also on me because I'm much older than this person, because I used to like babysit them, and they're like a year younger. So I was like, so it's just that I haven't really connect or talk, and yeah, that's something I wish and I need to work on. Yeah.
Yeah, and you said you have a tough time connecting with others. I don't know if you've been part of los círculos que SPP.
The support groups that we do. Yeah, Beatriz have participated. I don't know if you want to share, like, how was that experience, or in any of the services you received here.
It's been helpful because you also get to hear other people's point of view and things that they have done to like reveal the truth, from taking care of themselves, um and like self-love. Like, I love listening to people and also sharing part of me and connecting and stuff like that. Has been really great. And I especially like when we used to go outside, because it's like, um, I think something that also a lot of survivor is like, we come really sheltered, we come really like home base. We don't really leave the house a lot, so finding a way to get out the house, a reason for it, and doing things that is not connected to your house, does help. So yeah.
Do you want to share a little bit more about what has helped you or when triggers come up?
Yeah. There's a moment that I don't even know I'm triggered because I realize afterward when I'm like, oh Lord, that was the whole trigger. Like I was having the whole time. But something that has helped me is just um moving myself of the place and walking out or going just out, like just taking my keys and just walk the door out, like and just walk. There's been a time when I was really triggered that I just like grabbed my keys, put a jacket, and it was raining, and I just walked to a park that was like about 10 blocks away, and just sit there and like it kind of helped me.
What are some self-care things that you do for yourself?
Uh, I like a lot of like things that makes me happy, which is like puzzles. I love like bring puzzles. I like a lot of like drawings. I love listening to other podcasts, just people talking about things that and like self-love, care, and community, like how they do it, how they take care of themselves, how they take care of their family and their friends, or just talk about social things that's going on. I love drawing. I love finding art. I love listening to different type of music. Um, yeah, it's more like a creative way that I like a lot of like brain. I like a lot of things that makes my brain to think and challenge. So yeah, that way.
That's really
Yeah.
nice. What would you say to someone who hasn't spoken about their experience yet, but maybe is thinking about it?
I say that it will eventually, like, I know it's the most scary thing. I know how scary it is because I used to think that I was gonna die with this secret. Like that was something I was like, oh, this is something as a child I was think like something I take it to the tomb. And then there's a point that like I know it's scary, and then you feel like you are not feeling protected, but end of the day you need to think about yourself. And I know this is challenge. I know that you can't even like physically feel yourself right now, but be selfish. Like it's the only thing it can help you. Be selfish, center you. You are the only one. Don't matter. Say it. Because like these people are gonna live life. These people are gonna move their life, find relationship, move to another city, build their life, and they will never be held accountable. Like and be considered to be the best person in their in everyone view and point of view. But just I yeah, is just like caring it is not worth it because it's like people being praised. People are rich and they have abused bunch of people, and you don't even know how abusive these people are, and they are considered to be God and mentals, like and things like that. So I just like, yeah, I don't know, just be selfish for once. Yeah. That's really good. Yeah.
What kind of changes do you want to see in the world when it comes to supporting survivors?
Ooh. I wish I wish accountability was a thing. Truly, like not just putting people in jail because that person abused and rape or whatever they done to a person, but like accountability meaning like education, a change of society to understand what is abuse, how abuse happen, like how does abuse affect a person, how what type of technique do people use to abuse people. I wish that um because like we live such a society that is so normalized because we are trying to survive in certain way, so we allow those certain things to just get certain places to be just among family, among like work, like career wise workers or peers, school education. I say everything because like it does come from that. Like people are afraid to, even though they know that person's just abuser and or abusing someone, they like certain way fear. I haven't listened to a podcast that talks about accountability, not just sexual abuse but physical abuse, power abuse, and how how society we and I think it has to do with capitalism, and I think it has to do in a way how the world had being colonized, because we all inherit all this like abuse trauma that that tell us to like accept and like tolerate this certain abuse to people to get somewhere, like just ignore what's going, like just ignore the sound, and I'm like the words like it's burning around you, and it's just like that in general has to change. I don't think we are not going to get to nowhere if truly accountability in how we dehumanize and abuse people don't change.
Yes, you are correct about that. How do you think that friends and families can truly show up as a community and show up as allies rather than people who kind of seem like they're going against you?
Anger. And I don't talk about anger in the sense like violence. I'm talking about anger of like confronting people. I truly think like anger really is needed for that, and not just like anger to feel like something injustice happened to someone that I love, and you hurt this person, like, and it come from that anger of love, like that love, anger of love, um, that needs to like how you know you love someone, like and this person is harmed, and you're not feeling anger for this person was harmed who you love. Like I don't understand. So it's and like fear needs to get out. Fear needs to go away. Fear is needed, but in that sense, it cannot be there. So yeah.
That's so true, because if we stay in fear, then we usually don't act, right?
Yeah.
And anger moves us to take action. Let's take this person, to court, to like, let's bring this person to the police. Let's make more report. Let's confront this person as a community because we're angry that my child is being harmed or was harmed. I totally agree with you.
Yeah, I agree as well. And I just want to add, like, speak about it without thinking about who it's gonna affect. Because if we think about it's gonna affect his wife, it's gonna affect the children,
it's gonna break the family,
it's gonna change their perspective about their father or whatever. None of that matters when there is someone who was a victim of this and is a survivor and is trying to speak out about it. Everyone should speak out.
Share that same issue in her family, right? Not being able to tell this tia because she's gonna have a heart attack, she won't be able to manage that, but then that person is out there causing harm.
Yeah, right? And I think that also comes from the fear of what being labeled as aggressive, being labeled as a problematic person. Like that was something that I have been dealing a lot. Just the shame of being labeled as like the black sheep of the family, being labeled
the one that's causing problem
that you know, like the word they love to use, odiosa. They love to use that word. For me, sometimes like what you being so odiosa, you being so like, oh, but like I'm like, I wish you understand where I come from, and like the understanding that, and I think it also have affected me in a certain way now. Like I'm realizing like it has like silenced me in a way. It has, I feel like I'm realizing like it has caused me like when I was much younger, I was more confronted. I would like tell people things like how it is, like don't like why are you saying that, like, and it's just like nasty, being rude to people, or just like things that like a low-key red flag abuse it. And now I find myself like I'm just like tired, so tired to just to be the only one who say something, that I'm like, what's the point? What's the point? Like I'm like, I'm only one who don't understand this is not okay. And I find myself, especially like being around people, like I'm like, I find myself more like shunted, and I'm like, yes, it has caused, and that's something that I wanna, yeah, build onto it. Like I want to be that person again. So yeah.
Yeah. And it kind of just feels like you're all alone in this
Yeah.
when it shouldn't be like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are some hopes for yourself and for others who are still in this healing path that is not linear?
Yeah. I hope that every time you may feel like you're not growing, you will see the growth you have done. Like something that I think we all don't realize and like appreciate, which is the number one thing I think is important, is seeing the growth in you, and like of like loving yourself, of like standing up for yourself, of not fearing. Like there's moment you may that fear will come back, but there's time that you like, you know what, yes, continue. It's like a continue disrupt, but it's like a, yeah, you continue building up into it. So I hope to see that one day you be like, oh my god, like a year ago I was a complete different person. And like there's even like if it's just 10% of growth, like I have done something. So yeah.
I agree with you, Beatriz, which bring me back to your own story when you share, like at first I did therapy when I was 19, then I did it another time, right? Growth happens slowly. And I think we need to be aware of that. And every step we take is growth. And looking back and seeing, like you said, I'm not that person anymore. I have changed in this way. That's being compassionate towards yourself and
Yes.
recognizing your efforts. Because healing, like I mentioned before, is not a straight line, and it's gonna have lows and downs and up and downs, right? It's going to feel like that, but the
Yeah.
growth is still happening even within that.
Yeah.
Changes.
Yeah, and especially something that I'm like, don't compare yourself to other
That's very
people
important.
who may experience certain similar things to you. Because like I also like have a problem with people who like speak out about abuse, but like they show this like, oh, but I like graduated from Harvard and I'm like, it's great you done that. I club, but don't expect that to like, even though you dream, even though you wish that will be you, because like we had this idea that going like being achieved that and like pass through the trauma is just like, oh, I'm now like married, I bought a house, and I'm like, no, it's also really small thing that's really important. Like the small as things that can be like, know how to express your emotion better, knowing when you're being triggered, knowing how to take care of yourself, as simple things that like confronting people, and like, yeah. So I do see that small things are more important than what you think, that just a career of like relationship wise, like that. So
I love that you mentioned that, because all survivors are unique. We come from different places. We have different experiences that make us who we are.
Yeah.
And the resilience in us is also different. And that's human. We usually make that mistake of like comparing our life to others and then bringing that back to us. And then again, I think having compassion for us and understanding that we are in our own path, it's important.
Yes, it definitely is.
And I just want to add, don't listen to anyone that says get over it.
Oh,
because that is not the way. Even survivors themselves I've heard it. I'm just like, no, thank you, but no, it's not the way. Yeah. You're on your own path, as Perla said.
Yes.
Yeah. Is there something that you would say right now, at the age that you are right now, to that little girl at 4
Mhm.
and at 9,
Mhm.
what would you say?
I said that you still have the hope. Like, I still have the hope as a child when I was that age that I will eventually will come to certain things. You maybe feel like there's also a part of you that you felt like that um that evil secret will never be told. But end of the day, you will grow and you will build skills that you won't like you not don't imagine. But I still have that hope. I think I have the hope, and I appreciate you from hoping that hope from like that you eventually will be someone that's not even like career wise, but like someone that you like. Oh, she is something. So yeah,
That's beautiful.
thank
Yeah.
you.
How are you feeling after having this conversation?
I'm feeling okay. I think um like I feeling kind of bit relaxed. But I will be honest, I'm kind of hungry, so it's hard to like.
We gotta give her a snack.
Yes. But I'm also like realizing certain things about me, so I'm kind of happy about that, and so happiness, relax, and yeah.
What is something nice you're going to do for yourself today?
Well, I'm straight up going to get some good food. And yeah, and then talk to my friend and just share things like FaceTime them maybe. Yeah, this is gonna be yeah.
I just wanted to say thank you for sharing the story the way you did.
Yeah.
Oh.
Thank you, truly, for being here,
Oh, thank you.
for opening up. It takes a lot
Yes.
to do that. It's not easy. And I really appreciate you being here with us today.
Thank you for inviting me. Like, I can't wait to like hear and listen to not just mine but other people or other episodes. So thank you guys.
Thank you, Beatriz.
Okay.
Is there anything else you want to share before we wrap up?
No, yeah. I know it's hard, but be self and love yourself. I know that it's hard, but just do that. Yeah.
Thank you. This is Chamela Martinez, Digital Outreach Specialist. Thank you for listening today. If you want to share a story, write to us at Óyeme, Oyete at vipmujeres.org. The Violence Intervention Program is an organization that operates in New York City with bilingual services for victims of domestic and sexual violence. If you or someone you know is going through an abusive situation, call our helpline at 1-800-558-6664 or visit our website at www.vipmujeres.org. Remember, we believe you and we are here to support you. Until next time.